Congressman, there's a lot of talk right now that what they may end up doing is this discharge petition and go around the speaker and put it on the floor of the House anyway. What do you think?
Well, what I'd tell you, first of all, great to be on. And I would tell you that I'm, first of all, proud that we were able to get impeachment across the finish line last night. We'll talk about that, I'm assuming, a little bit more in a minute. But this issue with the bill that came over from the Senate, as I said on Fox News yesterday, this is, the hardest you've ever seen the United States Senate work is when they're trying to spend your money to fund foreign wars. That's what's going on here. And they're trying to jam that across. They're trying to use Israel to tie it to Ukraine. They've said, the President of the United States has said he wouldn't sign an Israel bill unless we get the funding for Ukraine. And now they want to try to jam it over to the House. Now, Mike Johnson has so far said he's not willing to do that and move it on the floor. So your question about the discharge petition, which for the listeners out there is a tool by which you can, if a majority of the body signs on something, says, okay, we can move a bill on the floor if the speaker won't move it. That has hardly ever been done. I'm trying to think. It's been forever, and it maybe have only been done a couple of times. It's never done. The reason it's never done is because you pretty much are relinquishing majority control of the House, right? You're not letting it be the Republican majority. So we don't believe that that's a real threat. And if a member of our conference decided to do that here, I believe there would be repercussions for that. But at the end of the day, I think it's a tough thing to sell on the merits. I don't think any member of the Republican conference can go back to their constituents, no matter what the district is, and say that they're going to go spend $95 billion of unpaid money to fund a foreign war when there is no clear mission, our borders are wide open, and they're doing it with the pressure from the White House. So I don't believe that will happen, and I hope Speaker Johnson will hold the line.
7:13, Trey Ware on KTSA with Congressman Chip Roy. And Chip, I again last night was the impeachment. We're going to get to that in a couple of seconds. But one thing I want to point out about this Biden press conference, if you want to call it that, from yesterday, he was very passionate about this, yelling and saying to Republicans, history will, hold you to account. History will never forget if you don't do this. One thing I was thinking as I was watching him go through this, and we know that he's in a severe mental decline. There's no question about that. We've been watching it, chronicling it on my show now for years. But I have never heard him speak as passionately about anything that concerns the American people, a la our southern border. Like you go and you stand in the podium and you are passionate, man. You bring it every time when you talk about our border and talk about how the spending, the ripoff that's going on right now to fund everything else. But his passion is about defending Ukraine, not about defending us. I've never heard him give a speech with that much passion concerning what's happening at the southern border. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's telling. And it's because at the end of the day, they do not, the president and my Democrat colleagues, they do not believe in American sovereignty. They do not believe in American exceptionalism.
Yeah.
They believe in a one world order. And there's stuff that goes much deeper here, right? People always I'm not someone that likes to just go push everything you see on the internet about, all right, what did Hunter Biden do now, or what was going on. I try to be careful, to build a case as sort of a prosecutor mind. But very clearly, right, the Biden family's been neck deep in what's going on over in Ukraine. They've built this whole thing, everything for the last almost decade now, right? The last 8 years has been about trying to pin on President Trump, the Russian hoax and all this stuff. And remember, I sat in all of those meetings. I sat in the SCIF, right, the secured setting, with all of these leftists, including Adam Schiff, when they were trying to pin on President Trump all of this stuff on the impeachment issue in the summer of 2019. And all of the stuff that we were pushing back on, saying, wait a minute, right? Hunter's neck deep in all this stuff going on there in Burisma. And so this has all been, it's almost like a cult-like adherence that we must stand next to Zelensky in Ukraine. And they want to kind of continue this facade about Russia and President Trump. Basically, they're neck deep in it and they can't get out. And the American people are seeing it for what it is, which is a fraudulent political move that's endangering our country, making it to where we're spending money we don't have, and a handful of Republicans who are stuck in the 1980s are going around saying, oh, this is about protecting freedom. This is about fighting the Russians. Look, guys, I don't like Putin. He's killing innocent people. But you're the ones putting fuel on the fire with no clear mission. The people of Ukraine deserve better than that, right? Honestly, it's really bad what we're doing by throwing tens of billions of dollars at them, where they allow Zelensky to fund, pensions, and their oligarchs are getting money and all this crap. And meanwhile, we're actually endangering them. This is my view. I think it's not good for our national security, and frankly, I don't think it's really good for theirs.
Amen to that. Illegal alien released after the attack in New York. The ones that were flipping off the cameras it's just now breaking news, is now a robbery suspect. So apparently after that individual was released, or those individuals were released, they carried on with their criminal ways. And I know this has been a passion of yours, talking about our southern border. You've been there multiple times. And last night, the House voted to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas. Talk to us about it, Chip.
Well, that point you just made, I'm sure now that we let him out on bail, he flicked the American people off, he now goes and commits another crime. I'm sure now, what does he get? He gets an award? Now does he get paid? That's the way this administration is viewing it all, and the locals that are in these sanctuary cities like New York and other places. It was good that we impeached Alejandro Mayorkas last night, okay? It was a long time coming. It took a lot of work. My staff, you will remember this, we worked hard to make the case 2.5 years ago in my first memo in the fall of 2019 to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas. We followed up 2 years ago in the spring of 21, in the fall of 21 to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas. We followed up in 2022. We followed up last year with updates after he lied to me under oath. We put it on him. We put the boards up. We showed you said we'd have operational control. He lied under oath. He broke his oath. He's endangered the people. Of course he should be impeached. I had, many debates with my colleagues, and we finally got there. Only 3 Republicans dissented. We got the votes that were needed. Steve Scalise came back from his treatment at MD Anderson. I give my Republican colleagues a lot of grief, right? We haven't gotten some of the things done I wanted to get done. But my speech that I gave in November where I said, name one thing we've done, well, we impeached a sitting cabinet member for only the second time in history. And he deserved it. And it's not a political thing. The American people need to see accountability from this administration. This is one step. We need to do 10 or 20 other things. We need to cut spending. We need to force security at the border. I would personally say I'm not going to fund government, no security, no funding, if we don't get border security changes. But we need to fight every single day now to November and earn the right for the American people to send us back into the majority and hopefully get the White House back. But it was a good step and a good day for America. Sad that that's what it's come to. But it's important that we hold the executive branch accountable.
And 2 points about that. Between now and November, that needs to be advertised on every medium that you can think of over and over again, hammering that message. Number 2, I encourage, as I always do, people like myself in your district or outside of your district, either way, to log on to the website and sign up for the email briefings. They are fantastic. And finally, Chip, before I let you go, Norma just texted me. She's a listener. She says, applause and praise to Congressman Chip Roy. Keep representing we the people. So there you go.
God bless her. Look, we can do this if we'll unite and take our country back. I'm always inspired by the American people rising up. The Riley Gaineses of the world who stood up and said, a man can't swim against me in a meet, or Chloe Cole said you can't transition people, or Scott Smith who stood up to defend his daughter in a school and fought the prosecutors. Like, we can stand up. It's going to start with the people, and we're going to keep fighting for them.
Chip, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, sir.
God bless.
God bless you.